Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. It's been 10 seasons of empowering small businesses such as yourself, hand-holding you and guiding you. I'm Sunanda Jayaseelan. On the show tonight, we're bringing you takeaways from a panel discussion that I did as part of a roadshow we do across the country that we call the Townhall, because we invite you, the entrepreneur, to ask questions and to be front and center at each of these town halls. Today, we're talking about the hospitality space and startups in the city of Bengaluru. How are they changing and what is driving that change? Let me introduce my panelists. Zain Khwaja, Managing Director, US Pizza; Pooja Prasad, Co-founder, The Caffeine Bar; Sandipan Mitra, CEO and Co-founder, Hunger Box. One more trend I want to discuss, of course, is the impact that the Russia-Ukraine war has had on domestic inflation. Food grain prices going up, gas prices going up, oil prices going up, of course. How have, and I would love to hear from the audience as well, how small businesses have managed, but how have your businesses, three of you, how did you really manage? Because you don't know how long drawn out this is going to be. So has there been any impact? Do you want to perhaps sort of flag it off? Yeah.
Absolutely. The unfortunate and truthful answer is that most of these costs have been passed on to the consumer. And I mean, all together, every brand, every company, every business together almost made the decision that this is something that we'll all do together. Obviously not like speaking, but everybody knew that this had to be done. So all these costs have been passed on to the consumer. And unfortunately, the consumer has seen a very real drop in income. I mean, real income, where the price is the same amount of money that they have is now less for the amount of food or consumer items that they need to buy. This is not something that we're going to get out of until corporates somehow are able to catch up with their rate hikes, their wage hikes, and the corporate profits are there to do that. So hopefully there's something that sorts itself out. But if this was to continue, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, I think we're going to have a real big problem in fuel prices. That's the main one for us.
Okay, any questions from our audience? Please put your hands up. You can introduce yourself. Yes.
My name is Shankar. This is a question about to Madam. In your coffee processing, how much of automation you use? Because technology and automation are the thing of the day now. Automatic processing of all this right from first to end, where you keep the quality almost top class every time you come out with. So every sample is top class. So,
sure. So do you want to answer? Yeah.
So actually, I just said we have our own farms. So we maintain the quality right from there. We have our own processing unit. So automation comes there where a coffee bean, once it's dried, the outer peel has to be removed. So there is a machine which cuts off the outer peel and then you get your green bean. So there's automation there. And there's also a software which grades the coffees. So grading coffee is like grading according to the sizes. So that's again there. And then when it comes to the cafe where we roast our coffees, again there is a software there where you can either manually or automatically roast the coffees, as in you put in a process, a way that you roast the coffees and then the machine takes it forward. And then the final process, that is the brewing, we do it in-house. We don't have an automatic machine like a vending machine where you just click on a button and you get a cappuccino or an Americano. We brew it for a customer there. So maintaining the quality, as I said, we have our own farm, so everything is in our hands. We see that the customer gets a good cup of coffee. We know that we serve very good coffees to the customers. And also there is quality in the coffee as well, where the beans are graded. So we serve the top-notch beans for the customers.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Yes, this gentleman in the orange shirt.
My question is to Sandipan. My name is Arun. I just wanted to know, with this flexible working scheme, how is it possible for you to estimate demand? Are you using technology to look at demand because it's going to keep fluctuating. There are people going to come into office, the type of dining that they want or the kind of food that they want may keep changing. It's not as predictable as it was before the pandemic. So have you thought about it, or how do you do it?
True, true. No, so it has been a multi-whammy for us. Number one, number of times people come to office has reduced. It's now twice or thrice. And in that, the overall percentage has obviously come down. It's about 30% right now, 30 to 36%. And inflation, right? A combination of all the three together makes our job very, very, very tough as offices open. But that's where the fruits of using technology comes to our rescue, right? So by running digital cafeterias, we are able to see the total sale. We are able to do predictive analysis, tell our food partners that this is the trend. This is what sold last Wednesday. So we expect this kind of sale happening the next Wednesday. What kind of items are getting sold? The review rating mechanism that employees put in tells us what employees are liking, what they are not liking, and what kind of trends you can expect going forward. So you can manage your menus accordingly. We have shortened menus so that there are lesser options but higher selling numbers. So a combination of all that helps us navigate through these tough times. But we expect we are seeing week on week the numbers kind of get better, right? So fingers crossed.
Great question, thank you. Yes, the gentleman at the back, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Panish, and as a consumer, it is not a specific question. You spoke about digital technology you are using, predictive analysis, as Minister also was mentioning. How do you actually do the predictive analysis on the taste, especially in the food industry? Today, being a unity in diversity, we have too many, across Karnataka, we have a lot of tastes which is coming up. What US pizza is coming may be tasted for a set of people, where the caffeine is for other set of people like a Malnad team, it is Chikmagalur. How exactly you do use the technology for this? It's just a little on the lighter note, but yes, it is very important how do you do.
True. No, very, very, very good question. And India is a country of variety. So if you were in Europe, you just serve pizza, and that kind of 70% of all food sold is just pizza in Europe. But in India, it's broken into 51 cuisines that we have to serve, and the preferences change. Every area, sub areas, the kind of employee strength in our organizations changes. The only solution to that we have seen is to bring in variety and choices and keep rotating them, right? So no matter how good the food is, it kind of gets mundane, and people then brand it as hospital food. So your best, before that fatigue sets in, keep changing, keep bringing in new varieties, choices. And India is just full of just so many beautiful food entrepreneurs. You can just go on and on and on and bring in fresh choices and varieties. So if you're proactive and you keep doing that, you have something new to offer the consumer. Innovation is constant. We have to keep doing that. That's the cost of being in this business, right? So
Sure. This gentleman right in front, a mic, please.
I have a very generic question that the hospitality, especially the food industry, is very popular in Karnataka, probably entire India. I'm sorry, I'm Sudhir, ex-entrepreneur. And this question comes because I've been a customer of the food industry for a long time. A lot of youngsters have taken on to the food industry and have brilliant ideas and launched so many different kind of foods, chains, concepts. But as all of you know, most of them have failed. And so that is one area of concern. The second is most of these people, youngsters who start, always target the very, 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 very small H&I industry. Their prices are prohibitive, and they seem to always position themselves as, right at the top, which is a great positioning. If there were a lot of people with a lot of money, yes, but India is predominantly still not a rich country. And maybe that's the reason why they fail. So as three successful entrepreneurs, maybe you have some guidance for these food wannabes on how to better choose the direction if they wanted to get into the food, and then how to position themselves properly so they have a higher chance of success. That is really what I wanted to ask.
Okay.
Thank you.
Which are these businesses that are?
Let me answer this.
Sure.
Absolutely. So it's a great question, and I think this whole show is about entrepreneurship and people going out on their own. And as a society and a country, we celebrate that. We celebrate the courage to do things on your own, to break the mold. But what exactly like you said, these are very risky propositions. I mean, sometimes you're leaving a job for it. Sometimes you're putting your entire net worth on a proposition like this. And what I would say is that going out on your own like that is like learning carpentry and building your own furniture. And what I would say is, rather than that, go to an IKEA and let your creative process end there, and then just follow the instructions and do the hard work necessary. And that's what I would say is franchising. What we do, we create the right business model, and we ask someone to partner with us to see it through, to execute on that. And that's what I would say to you.
Do you want to add to that?
Yes, talking about franchisee model, being from the supply chain, for being a farm to cup brand, I would not be okay with a franchisee model. I have nothing against it, but just for my brand, I always feel that we have to maintain our quality and standards. So for us as a brand, I would like to take my brand forward, having somebody on board who has the same ideology and vision that we have, so that we can give the same quality to all the customers.
I'll take a break. On the other side, we'll continue with the takeaways from our Bangalore Town Hall. Welcome back with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow. Tonight, bringing you the takeaways from our Town Hall series in Bengaluru. Okay, one last question. Yes, please.
Right,
And then I'll take one last audience question and we can wind up. The
Sure.
lady at the back.
I'll just add one sentence. You can be a failed entrepreneur, right? Only if you have given up, right? If you don't choose to give up, right? Like 2.5 years, we didn't give up, so we kind of raised from our phoenix, right? Food business, very easy to get into, very difficult to scale, and very difficult to repeat the magic day after day. So you have to be, as an entrepreneur, very, very, very passionate about what you are doing, and you have to love what you do as a business. If you do that, you will figure out your ways, right? It's the 97% failures are typically ones who kind of said that let me get into it, not kind of giving their heart and soul into it. If you do, then there is more probability of success.
Okay, one last question. The lady at the back.
Hello, good evening. Very, very interesting discussion, and I would like to congratulate all three of you for the success that you have attained in a very, very competitive industry. And I've been very curious. I mean, I've seen the growth. Everybody has seen the growth, the exponential growth in the food delivery platforms. So my question is, I've always wondered, how do you balance, for example, the pizza, you have dine-in as well as delivery. How do you balance the cost? Is it more expensive to have a customer dine in at the restaurant, or is it more expensive to have it delivered at home? How do you balance? Is there a difference in the pricing model? How do you balance that going forward? And I find that new entrepreneurs are using cloud kitchens. So how do you compete against them? Because they don't have a front, so no restaurant, no overheads. So how do you do that? And how do you see the evolving landscape going forward? Because the competition is only going to grow tougher.
You've actually summed up the last 5 years of the restaurant industry in one question, so congratulations. And I'm going to get a little bit technical. It's really simple if I put it this way. A break-even in a dine-in restaurant, you're going to be spending about 15% on rent at your break-even. Your minimum you're going to be spending on Swiggy and Zomato as a cloud kitchen or any brand is going to be 21%. And that's if you're big. That's if you actually have some scale. The mathematics are not equal. They're not. Which is why I will always prioritize the dine-in experience of a customer over a delivery experience of a customer. Or I will always demand a little bit extra in terms of money from a delivery customer just because of the economics of the situation. And I encourage everyone to go back to dining.
All right, let me take closing comments. Lots to discuss, but in the interest of time. And I want to come first to probably Zain, we had an interesting conversation offline. And you were talking about why for you word of mouth is just so much more important. I was asking you about branding and marketing. And you said for you word of mouth is more important than perhaps doing advertisements, spends, etc. It's not good for my industry. But why is that a strategy? What is your advice based on your strategy for an entrepreneur? Who's here?
What I was referring to when we had this conversation, we had just spoken about how Domino's, when they came in, sank about 75 crores plus, and we talked about it in 1998 on just brand awareness. Those kind of figures were unheard of at that time, especially in food. And I was telling Sunanda that what I would like to see and what my marketing is based around now is a balance between brand awareness and word of mouth marketing. And you'll see word of mouth marketing be successful for brands such as, I don't know if you guys know Rameshwaram or any of the big dosa brands. It's all about just someone else's feedback to you, because you will always trust that more than what the radio, the TV, or the YouTube ad says. Always. There's never, or influencer for that matter. But it is a low probability, high reward event to have that happen to you. And to have everyone say it at the same time, you need to have good product, every product. You have to have good service every time. You cannot fail the customer even one time. And that's what I base my business around and the business model of every outlet on.
Pooja, my question to you really is, Zain was talking about digital and online influencers. So I want to pick up the online part. A business which is so niche as the one you're representing, what is the play like when it comes to online versus offline? How do you scale? How much of your business would perhaps depend on an online growth, whether you are through your own website selling, whether you are selling through, say, Amazon, etc., whether you are depending on the likes of, say, Swiggy, Zomato to, list your products in your business, versus, like what he's saying, word of mouth, for instance. How much and what is your strategy and your advice based on that for our audience?
Talking just about the revenue, I would say online retail sales with aggregator websites like Amazon and Flipkart, and there are some certain websites which feature coffee-related products like 16 grams. That accounts to 10% of our revenue. Coming to the influencer marketing, yes. So even if I would want to go buy something, let it not be coffee, let it be some other product. If somebody tells me, not reading, but I would watch a video of somebody using it and telling their experience, that I build a trust in them and I will go and buy that product. So same with influencer or online marketing. We did have few influencers come over to our cafe. We brewed coffee for them. Yes, we had comments where they did not like the coffee. That's okay. And they did like the coffee. And based on that, we had customers walking into our cafe. They did appreciate it, and we really liked that. We really wanted to brew coffees for them. We were open to taking good and bad comments as well. And like you said, word of mouth, that definitely works. Anybody just telling you tomorrow, somebody comes and tells, oh, there's a cafe right here, they serve good coffee, and then yes, they do come. They may not, newspapers, online, reading it in sites might not work, but word of mouth really works. And talking about Swiggy, Zomato, yes, they're great aggregators in the market, provide employment for a lot of people. But we didn't rely much on Swiggy, Zomato. We relied more on dine-in. Because coffee as a beverage, it reaches cold when it reaches a customer. So we cannot boil the milk so much and burn the coffee, and then it reaches the customer and it doesn't taste good. So we actually didn't get into that line. We mainly looked at getting customers to the cafe, because for us, customer satisfaction was our top priority. We wanted them to have a good time, not getting coffee at home and then keeping it in the microwave. Then the entire story is lost in that.
All right, there was a question on innovation, and that is what I'm going to ask you and give you the last word, Sandipan. But I want to talk about innovation when it comes to health and hygiene. Such a huge focus, of course, on health and hygiene post the pandemic. For someone who's in the food business, you have to ensure hygiene is maintained, even more so than what you would have vaccination of your staff. All of those costs that you're going to take on. Just talk to us about how you are maybe innovating in that space. Any new innovation post the pandemic for the food industry that you are seeing that you want to use as advice and leave our audience with?
No, so, what digitization does in any industry, right, and especially in the F&B industry, is it brings in three things, right? One is transparency, one is accountability, and the other is convenience, right? So our journey of digitizing since 2016, we did not know all the benefits that we were going to bring to the industry. We just thought we are digitizing just the ordering part of it. But then, when we digitize, the entire operations, right, from food preparation in a kitchen to it, getting transported, to it reaching a site where it is, sensory tests are done, recorded digitally, and then loaded onto a bain-marie and served to the consumer. The entire journey is digitally tracked.
Thank you once again for your time. Thank you. Out of time on tonight's show. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our contact details coming up on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.